Welcome back to some new r/malicious compliance stories, where people comply to the letter, but not the spirit of a request. I hope you had a great day. Thanks for all the likes and comments on the last video. And now let's start with the first story. It's called Offer Help. Back when I was in high school, a while ago, I worked as a bagger at a local grocery store. One of the store's policies was that we had to offer to help everyone take their groceries out to their car. Now, I had a system. If someone was elderly or had a ton of bags, I'd always offer to help, and many of them appreciated it. On the other hand, parents with kids, they never accepted because they had built-in helpers. After a while, I figured out who was likely to say no, so I just stopped asking those customers. It saved everyone time. One day, my manager was hovering while I was bagging. A lady came through with exactly 2 items, a carton of eggs and a loaf of bread. I bagged them up, handed them to her with a smile and wished her a great day. She smiled back and walked out. No issue, right? Well, my manager wasn't happy. He scolded me for not offering to help her carry out her groceries. I pointed out that she had one bag that weighed less than a feather, so she probably didn't need assistance. But nope, store policy. I was required to offer help to every single customer. Alright then, the very next customer, a gym rat. He was a foot taller than me, had biceps the size of my head, and was rocking the classic tank top plus basketball shorts combo. I can't remember exactly what he bought, but it all fit in one bag and wasn't heavy. Just to be extra careful, I double bagged it. Then, with my manager still watching, I turned to the guy and said, "Sir, would you like me to help you carry all of your groceries out to your car?" He laughed. Then he saw that I wasn't laughing. His expression immediately turned to pure confusion. It was like I had just asked him what shampoo he used for his armpit hair. About 95% confusion, 5% suspicion. He glanced at my manager, probably wondering, is this kid serious? Is he okay? Then, still looking a little unsure, he finally said, nah man, I think I got it." He grabbed his bag of protein powder and eggs, or whatever it actually was, and walked out, still shaking his head. I turned back to my manager and just shrugged. His expression? A mix of defeat and realization. Basically a silent acknowledgement of, alright, fine, you made your point. And after that, he never hovered over me or enforced that policy ever again. The next story is called Personal Items. My friend Idris was 17 when he started working at this grimy call center. Back home, he's got a whole flock of geese in his yard. He absolutely loves them and treats them like pets. His favorite? Blinchik, which means pancake in Russian. To keep his spirits up in that very call center, Idris brought a small wallet-sized photo of Blinchik to work. Unfortunately, that's when his boss, Dave, stepped in. Dave had one rule: no personal items on your desk. It's about professionalism. But here's the catch. Dave's own desk was a mess. Old mugs, random figurines, and even some rusty fish statue. Idris says Dave had these weird habits, switching from passive-aggressive whispers to fake nice mode in seconds. So when Dave spotted the goose photo, he flipped out. Right there in front of everyone, he made Idris tear it up, while mumbling something about rule breaking. Idris, just a 17-year-old kid, froze. He didn't know how to stand up for himself back then, so he just did it. Dave smirked like he just won something. But Idris wasn't letting this go. If Dave wanted strict rule following, he was going to get it. The next day, Idris showed up with nothing. No pen, no notepad, not even a headset. When Dave asked what was going on, Idris simply said, "You said no personal items. I'm waiting for the company to provide everything." Dave was furious, but Idris held his ground. "It's your rule." Then the team joined in. Half of them stopped bringing their own supplies and the whole operation started falling apart. Calls were dropping, customers were frustrated, and Dave was scrambling to get things back to normal. Eventually he gave in. "Fine, bring what you need, just keep it low key." The next day, Idris put a brand new photo of Clean Chic right back on his desk. Dave didn't say a word. A few weeks later, Dave tried to fire Idris for insubordination. But here's where things took a turn. Idris had recorded the entire no personal items meltdown on his phone, which was completely legal where we live. He sent the recording to HR, along with a detailed report on Dave's hypocrisy. HR didn't fire Dave, but they gave him a serious warning, and he actually started chilling out. Then the real bombshell dropped. Turns out Dave had been skimming money from the petty cash box for years, just small amounts at a time, but it added up. Idris later found out that Dave's strict rules were just a distraction, keeping employees stressed so no one noticed the missing funds. That whole photo meltdown? Idris figures Dave was just flexing control to keep people off his trail. Dave got caught when a senior co-worker noticed that the office expenses didn't add up. He was fired, and charges were even filed against him later. Idris says he still feels proud about how he accidentally helped take down a crook, just by following Dave's own ridiculous rule. Oh, and Clean Chic? He's still in the yard, happily honking at anyone who gets too close. The last story is called Technically Correct. Back when I was working in the second-hand goods trade, we had a store policy. If a customer bought an item over a certain amount, we had to take down their name and address. But it wasn't a formal ID check. Some people didn't like giving their details, even after explaining that they could just make something up, since the system wasn't strict about it. One day, an older gentleman, who I called Bob, came in to buy a couple of collector coins. Individually, each coin was under the limit, but together the total price meant I had to ask for his details. What do you need my name for? Store policy. Transactions over a certain amount require us to take our name and address, since we are a second-hand dealer. What's the amount? I told him the exact threshold. Bob thought for a second, then said, "Alright, I'll just buy them separately then." I wasn't about to argue with him. He was technically correct. So I processed the individual transactions. A little annoying? Maybe. But in the end, Bob found a loophole, and I had to respect that. Thanks for watching the video to the end. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, comment and subscribe. And if you have time, watch another one of my videos. Also, if you want to support me further, check out the channel membership or Patreon. And now, I hope you have a great day. See you soon. Bye bye.